Many African foreign nationals have moved to South Africa for economic reasons. Now, as the country commemorates Human Rights Month, some of our focus is getting different stories from Africans and their experience here in the country. Earlier, my colleague, reporter Kailihle Kumalo, sat down with Tracy Ogboro, who specializes in making Nigerian traditional clothing. Kailihle is back now. He's in the studio with me. Kaya, good afternoon. Thanks for coming in this lunchtime. How are migrants feeling in South Africa? Can we start there? I wonder what Tracy told you.
Well, I mean, Braden, as you know, that South Africa is one of those hosting countries when it comes to migrant communities. So about 2.9 million migrants do live in South Africa. But in terms of whether are they seeing anything in terms of the betterment of their lives, it's really very. For Tracy, it's such a very wonderful story. You know, she got here in South Africa in 2000. She has now been able to do a lot in terms of her own improvement, in terms of her own career. She's a trained estate agent. So apart from that, she does also make dresses. And this is quite a spectacular experience, really, to have an opportunity, really, to spend a day with her, to hear her struggles, to hear her joys about South Africa. And Braden, one of the very key things she mentioned quite often was the issue of unity. We know that from time to time South Africa does have those sporadic violence where foreign nationals are attacked. So it's something really that has caused a bit of a very bad image for South Africa, and also in terms of perceptions. But this is what she had to say about her life in South Africa as we observe the Human Rights Month.
The human rights, it's basically the right of freedom as a human being. You know, I believe that people should have the right to certain things. I don't believe in injustice, and I don't believe in hate. So I believe that we should be able to be together and live together as one. It doesn't matter where you're coming from. Like we all know, in South Africa, we have the nationals, the foreigners, and the citizen. We should be able to be together and enjoy the basic things that are provided for us by the government together.
Now, Kaya, what did she say, and maybe and her fellow Africans, what do they want to see change in terms of human rights in this host nation of South Africa?
Well, Braden, we do know that the Home Affairs Department does face a litany of challenges in terms of their systems, where they try to modernize, their own technological advancement. So that's one of the challenges, where at times the immigration laws as well. But also we've seen a lot of flip-flopping around that area where the country is not really consistent. So that's one of the wishes that she has, that at least if we can try to be very consistent around the policy framework in terms of making sure, for example, that all the international protocols, the conventions that we have really said we are committed to live by, make sure that South Africa does live up to that expectations. But also we do know the Constitution is very explicit about the rights of all the people residing in South Africa. And Braden, of course, I don't know, I know that you are very curious about the pant I'm actually wearing. So this is one of the fine products that she has made for me. And of course, I don't want to subject your viewers to me really looking quite chubby, but if they can really just bear with me. But you can really see, I mean, it's a very quite colorful pant, and really just a mixture of Southern Africa, West Africa mixture. So this is really interesting, really. And it really just goes to show that, so the story of migrant, it's not really a sad one. You do have those who really do make a very positive contribution in terms of South Africa's economy. But we also got an opportunity to speak to the Nigerian Union here in South Africa, and this is what their leader had to say.
Actually, it's a month that is very important to all migrants. Nigeria in particular, because I am representing Nigeria, because human rights has to do with the respect for human dignity, fairness, and then respect for you as a human being first, not irrespective of your nationality.
Very, very important points there. Kaya, before we conclude, those pants that you are wearing, I mean, they are so colorful and brilliant. Do you think I would look good in them here? I mean, do you think we should speak to the eNCA stylist, Shupi, to say maybe we should allow? I mean, look at you. I mean, you look swag, man.
I tell you, Bradan, it's going to look absolutely fantastic on you. And I mean, lovely features. And it was a nice surprise. I mean, it was a matter of me just getting there at the very right moment because it was really waiting for me. But also just highlighting the whole issue around unity in South Africa, because there's also a very important element she mentioned around social cohesion in South Africa.
Yeah, but we talk about social cohesion as if it's something that somebody else must do. It's like a government must do social cohesion.
Yeah.
I mean, earlier I was interviewing Stephen Gordon from the Human Science Research Council, where he was talking about the need for a national collective memory. It's not a government's problem. It's all our problem. Social cohesion is all our problem. When you interacted with the likes of Tracy, the dressmaker, and the other foreign nationals who are here in our country currently, do they say they've seen some progress in terms of the democratic dispensation? I know you mentioned the challenges of the on and off attacks on foreign nationals that take place in our country, but is there some progress under the new democratic dispensation?
I think they do see that we have made certain gains, but obviously there are some areas where we still do see challenges. For example, we do know in South Africa it's a very progressive policy that we have. We don't have the camps where the non-South Africans go and live. So at least that's a very good element. But around the issue of the integration, so that's another very key issue that you always just hear from time to time, but also calling for unity, but also for fellow South Africans to understand why at times people will always head down to the southern tip of Africa as opposed to other areas in Africa. So I think the issue of the education for people to understand also just the dynamics in the continent as to why, whether people, do they leave of their own volition or there are certain underlying causes really. So it's an issue around education really where we still do lack, Bradan.
Thank you very much, Kaeliche Khumalo, there with that lovely set of colorful pants there. I think we should send a memo to eNCA stylist Shupi to say, can we also wear those colorful pants? Thank you very much, Kaeliche Khumalo, this lunchtime.